Do you remember the first time you felt ashamed? Take a moment. I'm sure you do. I do too. My name is Marya, and I was 7 years old, standing in front of the whole class when all the other kids were laughing. It wasn't just laughter. To me, it felt like a humiliation. That day, I made a decision. I will never again be the one people laugh at. So I built an image. The strong girl, the one who handles it, who achieves, who never gives up. I wanted everyone to say that I was strong, and when they did, it felt good. I thought I must be doing something right. Until the moment I was at my lowest and someone said it again. You are so strong. And for the first time, I hated it. I'm from Kazakhstan, and my first language wasn't Kazakh. My mother put me in a Kazakh-speaking class because she wanted me to have something that she never had. She wanted me to learn the language. When I first came to school, I understood absolutely nothing. When the teacher scolded me, I just stood there and waited for her to finish. I didn't understand a word. In the evenings, my mom and I would cry over homework that she couldn't help me with. But one day, I noticed something. The top students, they were treated differently. Nobody scolded them. Nobody laughed at them. And I decided I want that too. By fourth grade, I was a straight A student, and I loved it. Every time someone said, "Well done," I just wanted more. So I kept going. School for gifted students, gold medal, student body president, you name it. I even got Student of the Year award. But at some point, I stopped understanding why. I got the medal, I thought good, and then what now? Nobody was laughing anymore. I had made sure of that, but still, I didn't feel right. The joy was never that big because it wasn't my life. It was just a picture in which I finally looked right. Or I thought I did. Everyone thought it was ambition, and only later I understood. It was fear. After school, everything became unclear. While I was studying, it was simple. Just study hard, achieve it all, and you'll be the best. And then school ended, and I didn't know who I was without that picture. Everyone asked where I was applying. Family said to go into business, and I tried to convince myself I wanted that too. But this wasn't school anymore. This was something serious, something real. And I felt this thing in my chest, a kind of unease. So for the first time, I stopped and asked myself, do I actually want this? And to be frank, I didn't know the answer. In the end, I just left to study abroad, and some people thought it was ambition. They thought it was me running towards a dream. But in reality, it was me running away from all the questions, from all the expectations, away from myself. During my first year at university, I got a phone call. They said, we lost her. And I knew. I screamed into the phone louder than I've ever had. And then I went quiet for a long time. I lost my mother without saying goodbye, and while I was far from home. And everyone said, "You are so strong. You will get through this." And that's when I truly hated it. Strong, I hated that word because I didn't choose to be strong. I was just in unbearable pain, and it felt like nobody saw me. I had so much I wanted to show her. I wanted her to see who I would become. I was building all of this for her to be proud of. But most importantly, I lost the person who sincerely supported me and whom I actually believed. For the first 3 years, I barely talked about it with anyone. I held on to her in any way I could. I couldn't let go. I wasn't ready. Then I started therapy, and not because I was ready, but it just became too much to carry alone. And there, slowly, something started to shift. At first, I was angry. Angry at life, at the circumstances, angry at myself. And I stayed in that anger for so long, eventually I just got tired of it. I got tired of living that way. So I started looking for answers and thinking. All my life, I thought strength meant not being seen as broken, holding it together and not showing that it hurts. But in therapy, I allowed myself not to hold it together for the first time in a long time. I talked about what was painful and I cried without hiding it. I finally admitted that I didn't know what to do. And it didn't make me weaker. I think it made me alive. I understood that I carry my mom in my heart and that the best way to honor her was to finally start living my own life. Not someone else's picture, not someone else's dream, but mine. I understood that life is shorter and less predictable than I thought, and I had been putting mine on hold. So I started asking myself, who was I before all of this? I thought about my childhood a lot. And then I remembered. I remembered the girl who loved drawing more than anything, who always wanted to be a teacher, who was open and talkative and always surrounded by people. But somewhere along the way, she had stopped drawing. She told herself out of teaching, and she closed herself off from people. I had forgotten that person existed. So I started going back to her, one thing at a time. I went on to work as an art teacher, and I didn't care if it was ambitious or high achieving. For the first time, I truly didn't care because it was mine. It was not for an image, not for someone else's approval, but just mine. And I didn't feel that thing in my chest. I enjoyed it. And I surely wasn't waiting for it to finish. Then I remembered Kazakh, the language that brought me so much shame as a child, the language my mother gave me at the cost of our tears, and the language I stopped using. So a friend and I opened a Kazakh-speaking community, a space where people connect with each other. At the first meeting, I told stories about my first grade, and I actually laughed at them. At that moment, I realized that I had found my way back to the person I used to be. And my Kazakh is still far from perfect, by the way, so clearly there's still work to do. I used to think strength meant not being seen as broken, holding it together, and not showing that it hurts. Turns out, strength is when you finally allow yourself to be broken and stay anyway. I spent years chasing someone else's dream. Now I'm building my own. And people still call me strong sometimes, they do. I used to hate it, but now I can accept it, even when I feel weak. Because I've understood that there's more meaning to that word than I thought. And I still think about that day in first grade. I still think of my 7-year-old self standing in front of the class. And to her I say, "You made it." And to my 15-year-old self who worked harder than anyone, "You made it." And to 19-year-old Marya who thought that she was left completely alone, "You made it." And today, I'm still here and still building myself. And I no longer needed to look beautiful.